Hey, welcome to the Guys Who Can't Tell Time podcast. So, thanks to Alan, who just noticed that, oh, we're supposed to be live. We're here. This is 2 weeks in a row we did
Oh
this.
gosh.
And what's fun is we just have these great conversations backstage. And of course, we've been hanging out here for what, 45 minutes today?
30 minutes, yeah.
And we completely forgot to start the show. So, our apologies.
Awful. So unprofessional.
So anyway, welcome to the Q&A with Alan and Marshall show. We'll get this right one day.
You know, I think 3 years is not enough. By 5 years, we should have it down because we're not the smartest people, obviously.
Oh, man. You know, they say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're the wrong room. Alan and I we're in the same room.
I've never had that problem. I've never even understood that statement. So
anyway, so welcome to our show. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easiway.
And please let us know that you're here, where you're watching from. Also, don't forget that this is a Q&A show. So the show really works because you're commenting, you're asking questions, you're giving an answer. That really makes the whole thing work. So please, leave a comment, ask a question, whatever you want to do, that'd be great. And if you could, just share that you're watching it. Okay, we're really always trying to, get our viewership up. So that's always a good thing. We had a really great show last year. Had a lot last week. Had a lot of people watching, and so that was a lot.
It was a fun show. Yeah, it was real good.
Yeah, I can't promise this show will be any good at all because we can't even start the thing.
Right? Can't promise anything we do will be good, but we try. We're here, so.
Yeah. So we got a couple people here and a lot of regulars. So Richard's here and Frank's here. Good seeing you guys. And Cindy's here. Good seeing you, Cindy. So good seeing everybody. And anyway, so that's that, right? So we got that out of the way, right? So Alan, you've been traveling this week. Where were you?
I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is not far. It's a few hours from me, but I had a lot to do there, so I stayed a couple nights. Grand Rapids is. I started my career with Harco Graphics back in the 80s, and they were based out of Grand Rapids. And it was a rundown town. Grand Rapids is like the jewel of Michigan right now. It's a gorgeous city. Yeah, it's super nice.
Why is it called Grand Rapids? What's the story?
It is. The Grand River runs right through the middle of the city, which is kind of awesome because people will salmon fish right in the middle of the city.
Oh, so it's from there. Like not Austin, but
and then you can see, like, they have the fish ladders too, where you see the fish going up the ladders when they're spawning and stuff. Cool. But it's right on Lake Michigan, and the western side of Michigan, even though I grew up on the east side of the state, the western part is way prettier than the east part. I'm sorry to say. There's mountains, the white sand beaches, which we do have in Michigan. There's white sand beaches like sugar sand on Lake Michigan. And it's just gorgeous. And in the fall and all that. So it was a good time. But I was there, I was there working with a dealer and had a machine install, not a Blue Water, a different machine. We were doing chemical in, and it was a good trip. So
good. That's great. Good. That's fun. I like traveling. I was out of the country last week, and that was kind of fun. And I spent several days this week catching up because I was out of the country.
Yeah,
so, you know how it is.
Well, I know how it rolls. I don't roll like you. I mean, if I'm gonna burst everybody's bubble that Marshall was working hard. Marshall was out of the country. He had a client in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
How rough is that?
Yeah.
Putting on surfboard, toe grip, things like that. He was in
the I wasn't doing any of that.
Yeah. So anyways, but yeah, you know what? But I was funny because I talked to you then going, hey, how is it? What would you do? I was at the hotel. I was at the shop. I didn't see anything. It's like,
well, I had some good dinners,
Oh yeah. But anyway, I'm looking forward. Next week, I'm going to be in Ohio, it looks like, for a little bit. And then Atlanta. I'm really looking forward to Printing United, looking forward to seeing everybody. And You know, I'm so excited. I will say, what are you most excited about Printing United? For me, that Greg Hitson's going to be there. Haven't seen Greg in a while. It's going to be so good seeing you.
It's going to be great to see Greg, and I can't wait for that. And
not because we're friends with him, which we are, but Greg has, Marshall, let's face it, without Greg, I mean, he has laid the foundation for a lot of us in careers and helpful and educating. I loved running the speaker circuit with him, because Greg was a customer and a client I've been in the shop, and Greg teaches what he does.
Yeah, and he's such a nice guy. And I don't know, a lot of people know this story, but when I left T Formation in Florida, I knew I needed I had to get out of Tallahassee, and I needed to kind of brand myself. And so the Orlando show was coming up. I attended that show, and before that, I saw Greg was always doing things, and I introduced myself, said, "Hey, I would love to meet for coffee and talk." And he accepted my invitation, and I said, "Hey, I want to write for Impressions Magazine. How do you do that?" And he's like, "Well, have you ever written articles before?" I go, "Nope." And he go, "I did some really awesome print papers in college."
Yeah.
And so he said, "Well, hold on. So let me introduce you." So he walked me over to the Impressions booth, and I met Marcia Derryberry and Jamar Laster. And Jamar became my editor. And, Lori Gons was there. I met her too. And so it's like one of these things where he really helped me get going with that stuff. And then I started writing. They gave me an opportunity, and I took it. And a lot of the really cool things happened just because of that, right? So, that all started because he said yes to coffee.
Yeah, you know what? And it's the people you respect pushing you to do better. They're not. You know what? Did Marshall know writing, or did he know? Yeah, that's going to cut in another writer cutting into stuff he did and all that and speaking and stuff. But he's always investing in people. That's what you and I do. For me, a little bit of the same story. I started writing and wanting to do more. When I came up with 5 fundamentals of screen printing on there, Richard Greaves and Greg Hitson lost their mind over it. Greg just looked at me and goes, "This is going to be your deal. That will push you to the top and into the academy." And that did. Richard actually was a little bit more brutal, because typical Alan fashion, that I sat on it for a year and a half, and Richard just says, "If you don't do something in 2 months, I'm stealing it."
Yeah.
Plain and simple. But we need people like that, to push us. And that's why I'm so excited.
It's kind of like your podcast.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know what? I hate Brian Bufka. Even though you said it, I hate Brian Bufka. No,
he was going to say something, right?
Yeah. But you know what? And I need you guys pushing me on stuff like that. Because I am not the Marshall Atkinson where I put it on the whiteboard and it's going to have a due date. I'm not that guy. I put it on the whiteboard and it's there for 3 years. So
we got some more folks showing up. So Brian's here. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. I'm mad at you right now, even though you didn't say anything.
Our buddy Glenn's here.
Hey, Glenn. Glenn, will you be at Printing United?
And speaking of Printing United, I want to kind of share this.
Let's go. Yeah.
Here we go. So Shirt Lab is having a networking breakfast Thursday, 10/19 from 7:30 to 9. The actual expo floor opens at 9. So you can come hang out for an hour and a half with us. It's $35 if we don't know you at all, right? If you're a member of Shirt Lab Tribe, it's $20, right?
Yep.
So if you're a member of the tribe in the Facebook group, I posted the coupon code. So just look for that there. And so anyway, or if you want it, I'll email it to you or whatever, right? So it's in room C207, and we hope to see you there. It's going to be lots of fun. And we're just going to hang out and network and that type of stuff, and lots of fun. So huge shout out to the folks at Printing United for giving us some space. They
Awesome.
normally charge a lot of money for a room, and they're giving us the room for free. So really,
That's
really
awesome.
appreciate that. So thank you so much. And
Guys.
get signed up. I have to, the sign up, by the way, is the cutoff is the 12th, which is next Thursday, because I have to turn in my catering order. So if you're not signed up by Thursday, you're out of luck. So, and by the way, it's not. I don't expect gourmet food, right? This is just catering at the convention center type of breakfast. It's hanging out with people is the reason why you're there, right? So
it's simple breakfast food.
yeah,
Gourmet omelets with sauteed peppers,
bacon, and French toast casserole. That's what we're having, right? So,
and eggs Benedict with hollandaise sauce, topped with caviar, things like that.
Yeah, things
Stuff
like that.
Marshall has every day.
Yeah, of course. Have you seen my waistline? So,
Exactly.
so anyway, so get signed up. This is on Eventbrite. It's if you go to Eventbrite, just type in Shirt Lab Printing United Expo Networking Breakfast, and it'll pop right up. And I just put this up there yesterday. So get signed up, and we'll see you there. And if you got any questions, just give me a holler. Happy to help you. Okay.
I love it. I'm going to be there. I'm really looking forward to it. I love stuff like this. That's what shows are for, man. It's for networking. It's for meeting people. It's for getting together. Yeah. More stuff happens for me on stuff like that than in the booth. Not to mention, I love it. Come by Easyway's booth, everybody.
By the way, somebody sent me a note the other day that said, "Hey, Shirt Lab Tribe, it looks like you guys charge. Why do you charge when I could just get all this information for free in Facebook?"
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, we do more than most people, and so why don't you?" I said, "Hey, this is what we do. You should ask around and the members of the tribe if they get their benefit out of it."
Absolutely.
And this is one of the things is the breakfast actually costs more money than what we're charging, and we're actually kind of taking it on the chin, right? So if you've ever bought anything at a convention center, you know how much they charge. So
I love that the bar for Shirt Lab Tribe is Facebook groups. Really, if you think you're getting good information from there, you have no idea, people.
Right.
Wow.
So, all right.
Sorry, that was got
some great comments. So, Chris here says this podcast has pushed me from time to time before. I thank you guys for that. That's great.
Welcome. Thank you.
Right. And by the way, where is your weakness? Let us know, and we'll make sure we hit that easy button every single time we pop up. Ray's here. Good seeing you. And Josh is here. Good morning.
Look at the picture of the new baby. Did you see that? And it's Facebook picture.
On. He sent me an email today. I think he's not due for another week or two, right? Because he said,
"Is that an old one? I thought you guys had it." I don't know.
No, I thought your email this morning, Josh, said that the reason you couldn't go to Printing United is because you're having a baby, right? So maybe I misread it. I don't know. Anyway, hey, congratulations if this is the kid. And I'm an idiot, right? Whatever. William says, "Hey, y'all, good seeing you."
William.
Ray says, "Josh Lloyd, possible visit this afternoon." And then happy birthday to Justin View. Justin View, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know today was his birthday.
Yeah. So, is he on here?
I don't know. I don't see him. Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So, you ready to get going with some topics?
Let's go.
Yeah, and I see you already looking.
I have to.
I'm not even going to ask, right? So, our first thing is all about company growth, right? And so we talk about growth sometimes, and there's a lot of ways that your company can grow. It can be organized. It can be part of a business plan. It can be strategic. You can grow by acquisition, which is we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I think the thing that you got to do more than anything is you have to chart out where you want to go. And later on, one of our topics is Q4.
Right.
So want to chart out where we want to go and what do we want. What does success look like? What does it mean? What happens if you hit your numbers? What happens if you don't? These are really key things. And I think a lot of people, is it growth for growth's sakes? Is it profitable growth? If we add another press, how much more profitable are we going to be? Are we going to have to, how are we going to sell more, right? And, I've talked with people before about they want to add an embroidery machine or they want to add DTF or whatever.
Right.
And okay, so how are you going to be selling that every day? So that slot is completely full of work all the time. Because I can't tell you how many DTG presses there are out there in the world that just sit there and they're only used like an hour a week or something because they're not selling to it, right? And then what happens is that print heads clog because they're not doing the preventative maintenance, and then that's why you see posts like DTG presses don't work. You can't make any money, right? And that's not true because tons of people do, right? So it's just you can't make money.
Yeah. And if you have a machine like that sitting there, then why would you do that? Where you could just buy DTFs?
Well, this is pre-DTF stuff, right? But or currently now, whatever, right? So the idea here is that you just got to I really want people to think about where they want to go, right? And so something happened last week, and
Marshall, before we move on to that,
I get the slide going. Alan, once you talk to people about what happened last week and why it matters.
Before we go there, I want to say one other thing about company growth. So when you scale like that, you have to keep looking at that and start looking at your raw material and things like that, because people forget that. They always look at what can I buy, how can I grow, without looking at their baselines and their their raw materials and their processes and stuff.
Labor, who's going to be
labor? Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So on growth, one of the other ways to grow a business is through acquisition. And there are a lot of companies that are acquiring companies on their industry news. GSG, who is our sponsor, and we love them. Man, they do great. They have grown by acquisition and putting branches in and things like that. Easiway has grown. We have bought some companies that aren't like on the forefront and grown. Every company does. Saudi bought Chromaline. There was a big one last week. We couldn't say on Friday, it wasn't announced, but we knew about it, where Grimco, who is one of the largest sign suppliers, has purchased Tube Light, which is a very large sign supplier too. And that is a nationwide shakeup. So this is acquisition by growth. And Marshall found how many companies Grimco has purchased.
Right. They bought 8 companies, right, recently. They bought Midwest a couple of years ago, right?
Yep.
And of course, the Tube Light's not even on here, right? Because this was dated September 27th.
And Tube Light bought right before, a few years ago, bought Denko Supply, another large sign supplier on the West Coast, and then they just bought Garston.
Yeah. So the reason why we're mentioning this is just really because there's people making major moves in this industry, and GSG has been expanding like crazy, and I think they're doing fantastic. They've got wonderful classes and doing just a lot of stuff, right? And so if you're thinking in your shop, how can I grow? What can I do? Instead of buying an embroidery machine, what if you bought an embroidery company?
Yep.
Right? That has staff, that has people, that has customers, that has equipment and supplies and knows how to do it. Sometimes this is a better way for you to get into a channel. You just have to think about it. So, in SureLab, I have a partner, Tom. He's bought, 8 companies or 9 companies or whatever it is, right? His last acquisition was 1-800 T-shirts, right? That was 2 years ago, right? And he buys these companies all the time, right? Why does he do that? Because he's buying the sales,
right?
And so it's kind of a common business tactic, but not a lot of shops, I think, in this industry are doing that, right? They try to buy the equipment or buy the whatever and then grow it organically.
Yep.
right? And so one of the things we just wanted to throw out there, and we're using this news from last week, not as we're endorsing that, we're just using it as an example.
As if, yep.
You can acquire businesses to grow, right? And so that's kind of an interesting thing. So if you've ever thought about this, maybe you've actually done it. Like, can you leave a comment about it? We love your take on this topic right here about sales growth and what you're thinking about. You know, we're in Q4. 2024 is just around the corner. What are you doing on sales? What are you thinking about it?
Yep.
You know, because if you chart this out and you plan it, you know, maybe you hit your goal and maybe you don't. But in the meantime, you're moving forward doing stuff, right? And
right. Well, and there are companies that have grown that way. You know, our friends at Sandlot Sports have absorbed a couple of them also. And it is a great way. Now, you still have to have, Marshall, where some of the dangers when growing like this, like you said, are you just buying the equipment? What are you purchasing? But now I'm assuming, and like the guys with GSG can speak on this better on large acquisitions. You know, one of the problems that I've seen is sometimes they absorb these companies, but then there's a lapse in service and supply, and it just becomes a bigger screw up. I don't know another word.
Yeah, if you look in the history of any industry, not energy, look at anything, right? That people buy stuff all the time, and then what happens is there's a management kind of way of, it's kind of like, you ever see outfielders in baseball where they nobody calls the ball and the ball drops on the ground.
It drops in the middle, 100%. Yeah.
You don't really know who's supposed to do what, right? And so that's kind of the danger here is it has to be, there needs to be leadership. There needs to be a plan. There needs to be, this is how we're going to do it. I'm almost finished with the new biography of Elon Musk that just came out by Walter Isaacson, which is,
right.
I mean, a 4-inch thick book. I've been slogging through that. And what's really amazing for that guy is how he jumps in and personally gets involved with stuff, and he's never satisfied with the way the old company did it. I'm going to do a complete leadership shakeup, and I'm going to bring in my A team, and we're going to revamp everything and whatever. Yeah. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Okay. And I'm not advocating that or whatever. I'm just pointing out that he's about making it work the way that he wants to make it work. Right. So that's kind of the idea here is like, what is the end result? What is the outcome we're going through? What do we need to get to? That's what he's really doing with this stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So got some comments. Let's get to them. Josh says that's his mom and son. His daughter will be here on November 9th. Exactly.
Oh, okay. Good. Thank you.
That's what I thought. Hurley says, I have to say right now that will be marketing and growing. My town is very small, and I just about have them tapped out. Okay. Well, I don't know if you know this, but because of the internet, the earth is flat. Okay. Yeah. You can sell to somebody 300 miles away. Who cares? Right. So get out of your mindset that you're a local printer, right? Just like find customers that are aligned with what you do and what you want. And it doesn't really matter where they live, because guess what? That's what UPS is for.
Yep, exactly.
You can ship to them, right?
Yeah, I have a dealer, and I've had a couple of them, and these are independent dealers, which they use the internet and online sales and stuff. But with the way the world is, I always say not the world is flat, the world is smaller now. Yeah. So who's your neighbor? It's a lot farther away and all that, all of them. Yeah. And you know what? They laugh because, what's your territory? And they would just look at me and go, my territory is the world.
The territory is the world.
Is the world. And yep.
Yeah. Okay. Not Mars?
Not Mars. Not, UPS doesn't go there.
Yeah. Hurley says, company growth, excellent. This podcast once again arrives at the show with guns blazing. I love it.
Yep.
It's completely by accident. I can assure you.
I can't even start it on time.
Dean says, happy Friday, fellas. Same to you, buddy.
Hey, Dean.
Company growth, our primary objective for Printing United for me this month. Hotland is going to be a good one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'll be by your booth. I can't wait to talk to you.
Yep.
Ray says a lot of reasons behind acquiring companies, elimination of competition. Exactly. Customer lists, intellectual property of the ability to sell a product you do not have access to before.
Right.
Exactly. I love the elimination of competition.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, we can't compete with them. Let's just buy them.
Yep. 100%.
One of my favorite, and the old school guys remember this, one of my favorite software programs was called Freehand, which is a vector tool, which completely kicked Illustrator's ass. It was so easy to use. You know, Adobe bought it and then eliminated it.
Right.
Now we're stuck with Illustrator, which frankly, I'll tell you, I don't even use. I use Affinity because it's so much faster. But, you know, it's just one of these things where that's exactly true. Thank you, Ray. Howard says, this is Howard Aston from OCM Promotions. We have grown our account base for the last several years by purchasing retiring distributor company client assets. That's great.
Yep.
Love it. Thanks, Howard. Dean says, I bought our failing company to get started back in 2012. It was nice, quick in, but looking back, I personally would have been better off just piecing it all together as I grew. Okay. Good comment.
Yep.
But I've been told the earth has always been flat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not that.
Yeah. What Jesse said. Hey, Rob, what's up, buddy?
Rob Coleman, what's up?
Hey, we'll see you in Atlanta. I know, right?
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
See you live there. Right? So, and what Jesse said, plus expanding geography, moving into new markets. Dean says, I bought out of, this is what happened. Sean says, hi, guys. Excited to see the morning networking meeting on the 19th. Yes, please sign up.
It'll be good seeing you there.
Dean, freehand, you age yourself there. I don't know if you see this. I'm old. I didn't age myself.
We can age even better.
Yeah, the machine I work on this week had changed companies 3 times the last 2 years, East Coast, Midwest to Southwest. Each company ate the other. Yeah, it's like that. It's like the cartoon with the fish gobbling up this one, right?
There's always a bigger fish.
Heck yeah, Rob says. All right, great. So, all right. So anyway, so anybody have any other last minute company growth stuff? Let's get that in there. I want to get our next topic going because we're burning through time here. It's already half show's over.
Oh, that's right? What happens when we only started 5 minutes ago.
So the next thing is trace journey. Okay. So I wanted to kind of show this. Let me get my get prepared here. So trace journey is a plugin that I found the other day. One of my coaching clients, Brandon Mills with Total Promotions in Vegas, sent it to me because he knows I love Midjourney and I'm always talking about Midjourney. In fact, I'm sure people are going, would that guy just shut up about Midjourney?
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. But if you're using Midjourney, Trace Journey is a app. It's a bot that you can pull into Discord, where in Midjourney you can vectorize or upscale in Midjourney anything that you're doing. And I wanted to show this today. So this is today's, I always share, a little experiment I was playing around with. Today I was doing like control panel icons, right, in Midjourney. And then I clicked a button and now I have all of these as vector files completely done with one button click, and they're ready to go, right? So I just kind of wanted to show that because this is all about your art department working faster. So I created this. I actually looked it up. Me goofing around with this, I made several additions and upscales and whatever. And I like this one. I'll use it for what I wanted to show today. I spent a total of 9 minutes making this. Okay. Most of the experiments I do are somewhere, they're all under 15 minutes, but most of them are 5 or 6 minutes of work. So imagine you're creating a logo for a new company, or you're doing something, or you need an image for a t-shirt design, or whatever you're doing. You can do it in Midjourney. And in a couple of minutes, you can get to where you want to go. And now you can just, with Trace Journey, you can just hit a button and then that file is an instant vector art. You don't have to bring it into, you don't have to save it to your hard drive. You don't have to open an Illustrator. You don't have to live trace it. It's instantly vector. Okay.
Incredible.
This is, all those idiots that are always contacting you about vectorizing some file, they're out of business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's in the app. It's in Midjourney right now, right? So 100%. This is all about you saving time here. This is the reason why I wanted to show it. I think it's just marvelous, In fact, when I discovered this, I was playing with it. I brought my wife in to my office to look at it, and I was like, and let me tell you how much she cared, which is none. And but I was like, look at this. This is revolutionary. She goes, how wives are.
Yeah.
That's great, honey.
Go cut the lawn.
So anyway, I just wanted to show that. And in your art department, this is what you need right now, because this is how you compete. This is how you get faster. This is how you design more jobs a day, right? Get it, use it. Okay. So,
you know what? For the screen printer, this is huge. This is game changing. This just now made AI of creating art like super faster. You don't need to bring it into the RIP and all that. There, vectorized, done.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah. So and it's great. So anyway, we got some comments. Dean says most excellent info. This is new to me. I've been trying to stay up on it. Thanks, Dean. Kisa says hey Kisa.
How you doing, Kisa?
I'm excited to play around with it. This could be a huge time saver for us. Yeah, that's why I wanted to show it. Dean says, I use Midjourney and my Adobe skills for making a Printing United design for this year. Hope to see people clamoring to get some teas with it on it. Okay, great.
Cool.
Hey, thanks, Dean. I'll be by your booth to get one.
Absolutely.
I want it in jumbo giant guy size. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so where are we? We want to
for you and I, Dean, you're gonna have to bring the shirts for me, the huge and fat size. So
fat size. It's a
big and tall, huge and fat, same thing. So, yeah.
Big and tall, huge and fat.
Yeah.
All right, so we're a little past time here, but we want to. What we didn't do is we didn't roll our GSG commercial.
Well, we didn't start on time, so we failed at that too. Great.
Maybe I should do that real quick.
I think we should, because you know what? We've talked about acquisition, and we said it before. GSG has acquired a bunch. They are growing, and I think doing it correctly. Some of them they just did. And man, I was looking and showing them my clients. I was looking at their classes they have. Just amazing. They're going to be at Printing United, so you got to stop by their booth.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so here's our commercial. Hey, thanks. Here we go.
Over the last 70 years, GSG has seen many changes in the apparel decorating industry. But one thing that hasn't changed is our dedication to helping our customers discover what's next. As we continue to lead the industry, GSG is here to support your business with industry experts. The latest innovative products, training services, and by delivering the perfect order.
Yeah. Here's the best comment of the day, right? Remember, we'll have this on-time discussion in your review. Remember this when you ask for a raise, right?
Is Ray who we asked for a raise for? Oh wait, so it's a non-entity. Got it.
Yeah. Hey, thanks.
Appreciate the support, buddy.
We appreciate GSG. Thanks for sponsoring.
Well, absolutely.
And by the way, check out their Pulse magazine. You can get there. You just go to gogsg.com. This is loaded with all their products and deals and pricing and all types of things. So check it out, and I'm sure you can find something in there just for you. So, all right, do you remember our third topic, or without looking?
No, I have to look. Excuses, there are none. And Q4 goals.
Q4 goals. So Q4 goals. Why are we talking about this? Because guess what? Q4 just started.
Exactly.
Right? And
look at what Ray posted. Or Ray Greenwood.
I corrected your name spelling too.
Yeah, sorry. My name is spelled correctly. According to my mother, the way you spell it is a last name or a middle name, and it should never be done. She has a whole dissertation. I'd be happy to put you in touch with her.
All right, great. So, all right. So, Alan is now using the mom defense for
exactly. I have actually watched that lady. I had flowers delivered to her house. I was there, and the name was spelled wrong, and the dissertation came out to the delivery boy, and I had to pull her back and go, he's just a delivery guy. He didn't write it. So,
yeah.
Okay,
so Q4 goals, right? So why are we talking about this? Is because this is the first week in October, and we've got 3 months left in the year. So if you needed to hit something, now is the time to double up your effort, right? Yep. What are you doing? Are you charting it out? And let me tell you, I talk to lots of people who don't set goals. And it's just what you see is what you get. This is where we wind up, kind of a thing. That's like the opposite end of my DNA. Right? So I want to just let you guys know, if you want magic to happen, you have to set goals, and you have to figure out how to get there, and you have to work backwards from that goal to know where the landmines are, know where the benchmarks are, how do you know a week or a month in where you are so you can adjust. And I think this is really important. So I would love it if you guys, it doesn't have to be sales goals here. It can just be, I want to learn this. I want to do this. I'm trying to solve this problem. Okay. Those are fantastic goals to have. Okay. So Q4 goals. So Alan, can you share one or two of your goals?
Yeah, well, one of them I hit yesterday on there. So my sales goals are set. It's going to be a little rough getting to it. Just this year's been up and down. But hey, we got a quarter, so we got to hit it hard. So that's never an excuse. Mm-hmm. But I have other goals too. Manufacturers I want to contact, someone that I want to start dialogue with. I have some goals of machinery I want to try to close from there. And one of them was this pie in the sky, someone I didn't know in the industry, no relationship with. I'm out of town in their city, and I make a cold call to the president of the company. Didn't think I'd get there. He wasn't in. Left my card, catalog, and to purchasing and stuff like that. We had a pretty good conversation yesterday. So I was pretty excited about that. So the goals for me may not always be sales driven, while they are, but it is certain things I need to accomplish in Q4 to help start and lay the foundation for 2024.
Right.
On it.
Right.
So there's that. I do have some machine sales I need to close.
Right. And one of your goals right now for just our viewers, right, can be like you're plotting and planning for next year. That could be a really good goal to have, instead of like, it's January and what are we going to do?
Yeah. Who am I going to contact? Who am I going to start dialogue with? Who can I get in and that tough appointment who I'm going to just kick down the doors and at least get a yes or no? We got to have goals like that.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, there's something wrong with your microphone. It's sounding weird.
How about now?
That's better.
I was just too far.
It was very muffled a minute ago. All right.
Oh,
So
I'm
my Q4 goals, right?
So what I said were my goals were, who am I going to get that interview with, that appointment, that, start that dialogue with.
Yeah. And I think that's great. And do you have a list?
I do.
Great. And you have your checklist, right?
I do have my checklist, because I cannot not have my checklist for fear Ellie Banholzer will call me.
Right.
How are you flying blind without your checklist?
That's why it's fun. Right.
Yeah.
So Q4.
And Ellie will be at the Shirt Lab breakfast too.
Oh, she will, right?
Absolutely.
And, I don't know if you know this, but her printer Cheyenne, right, is going to be inducted in it gets the Women in Screenprinting Award, right?
Yep. So Cheyenne is, Nikki Woods is.
You've got one shop with 2 people winning that award now.
That's huge.
That's pretty amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So anyway, Q4 goals for me, it's all about my Midjourney newsletter, right? I really would like to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I am not on track for that, but I just recently started doing some things I think that could really help me. So with my VA Lyra's help, we just launched a YouTube channel this week. It's called Midjourney Experience. Please subscribe. And I'll be posting videos there. And we've been working really hard on building that up. There's like 3 videos there, but there's fixing to be like way more because they're already filmed. You just have to do some post processing and launch it, right? And then also I've got some other goals that I'm working on right now that are all about writing, and so anyway, so those are 2 big, huge things that I'm working on. We would love it if you would post your goals. Okay. And you'll notice that my goals aren't sales goals. They're action goals. My sales goals are tied to the action goals. So if I do my action goals, the sales follow, right? I'm Bill Walsh, by the way. Do you remember him? He's a football coach.
Yep, absolutely.
He has this
for
great
the 49, not for the Washington Redskins, right?
Yeah, it has this great quote: "Is if do your job, the score will take care of itself."
100%.
Right. So if you do the things that you're supposed to do, you're going to win the game, right? So let's talk. That's the reason why we want to set these goals, right? So what are we doing? And if we do the thing, you're going to have the result that you want, right?
Yep.
All right. So I got a comment. Dean says, "Isn't Alex in Qatar?" Right?
He is, and everybody knows that just because he posted this morning that they arrived. Alex is driving F1 these days. Formula One is what that means because he posted a picture that the Formula One Grand Prix is going to be there, and I actually believe they might be going. It is a business trip, but I think they're going to see that.
Why not? While we're here anyway, there's a golf tournament, there's a football game, there's a thing. I do that all the time. It's great.
And Qatar is in the Middle East. Dohan it's gorgeous. I've never been there. I when I heard they were going, I was like begging them, please take me. I would love. I've heard Dohan in Qatar is awesome. I've heard Abu Dhabi and American Emerald Emirates is just incredible. So 2 places I would love to go. Visit one time, but I've heard it's just amazing. It is a desert, but I've heard it's amazing. I've had friends that live over there, taught English over there, and just loved it. Said it was great.
I live in Phoenix. I live in the desert.
Exactly.
Melissa, hey, Melissa's here. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
2024 starts now. Plan the work the plan. Exactly.
100%.
Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you. Kisa says, I'm focusing on finding a small location for customer pickups, getting my VA up and running. Yes.
Awesome.
2 of our top target customers. It's perfect.
Great.
Thank you for sharing, Kisa. That's great.
Take that plan with Melissa's quote. Go. You got this.
Great. Dean says, all my business goals come off as shameless plugs. Haha. Just setting a goal is half the battle.
where would you do shameless plugs at if we didn't have Q&A, Dean?
Yeah, have a shameless plug. We don't care. Plug. Yeah. Gotta jump. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Glenn.
Glenn, always good.
Our fourth quarter goals are to follow up on clients for employees and client recognition goals, needs, and present new ideas. Also begin writing my book. That's great.
Good job, Howard. And you met with Howard, didn't you?
Yeah.
Had breakfast. So good.
Yeah, I did. Lunch, actually. So anyway, so Q4 goals, I think it's really great. Get them going. Write them down. Post them so you can see them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make it so you feel a little guilty when you walk by that thing because you're not doing it. Okay. Yeah. So you want to create a little sense of urgency, right? And then here's the thing with goals is chunkify it, right? We can't do everything at once. What can you do in the next 30 minutes? What can you do tomorrow? If you had an hour this afternoon, what can you get accomplished?
Yep.
This is how we get these things done. You're not going to do the whole thing at once. That's just ridiculous, right? You just got to do the work. Right? So
I think too, when you have it written down, it's not guilt. It might be if it's there too long, which I live in, but you know what it is? It's called conviction. It's pushing you. Come on, this needs a good do.
Well, our CERT Lab motto is actions reveal priorities.
100%.
Is it a priority for you or not? If it's not a priority, how good of a goal is that? Right? What's a priority for you? Okay. All right. Our last topic, without looking, Alan, what is it?
Hold on.
There you go. Actions reveal priorities. Exactly. Hey, where'd you get that?
I got it from some guy in the street. I think it was at a Goodwill shop I got it at. No. Actually, and what a great hoodie, too, with the 2 strings on it and everything. So, of course, I got one for my nephew, Miguel. He loves it.
Yeah, so that came from Shirt Lab New Orleans. That's where I was going with that, right? And from our sponsor, S&S Activewear.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. All right, so our last topic today, finishing out, this is basic blocking and tackling, okay?
Yep.
And the reason why we want to talk about this today is, both Alan and I help people overcome their challenges, okay? And I think a lot of times people, they get a new piece of equipment or they do a new website or whatever, and then everything was working and now something doesn't work, right? And I think it's because we've lost some fundamental thing. Something happened and we're not really sure of what happened. We have to go back to the basics, what we should really be doing, right? And Alan, for example, let's say somebody got a new exposure unit. What could go wrong?
Everything, because it's brand new. You're starting over with a whole new major variable. So now what can go wrong can be complete underexposure, can be complete overexposure on there. Unless you are running your very fundamental test of exposure test on every screen, every color of mesh, and if you have different coating preferences, you are asking for problems. And it's by a simple fundamental of measure your exposure to make sure that stencil is cured. Because if it's not, everything down the line, you're going to have reclaim problems. You can have breakdown. It could be pinholes. It could be 1,000 other things. And it happens every day. It's almost maddening to me, but it just is, because in words of our friend Greg Hitson, because people just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. So think about this. You just added an embroidery machine, or you just added DTF.
Yep.
You made a new web page or whatever, right? What is supposed to happen? What does victory look like? What does success look like? Mm-hmm. Can you measure something? One of the great quotes ever is that everything has to have a number. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what is a good number?
Yep.
Okay? And this could be just simple, how many sales phone calls you're supposed to make a day, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, right? Basic blocking and tackling. What should we be doing? Okay. Now we want to juxtapose that versus what actually happens.
Yeah.
And what should we be doing sometimes doesn't measure up to what we should be doing, right?
Right.
And this is the opportunity for you as a manager, or you as an owner, to correct that, right? But if you're not looking at that, right, if you're just letting things roll, okay, and then it's the end of the week, it's the end of the month, it's the end of the year, and you go, what happened? Right? That's what happens, is we're not doing the things that we should be doing, right? And this is, just the basic way of how things are supposed to happen. So think about, in every facet of it. How do you know that ink is mixed correctly to match that Pantone color? How do you know that screen has been exposed properly? How do you know that your registration is set up right? How do you know? What's your clue? Why do you feel that you have to have 2 revolutions on your print going around the machine to print the thing right? There's a reason why you have to do that. It's because you're not doing something else. What is that?
I was just on a good note. I was at a client this week, and they got their 3rd automatic press, got a new gas dryer, and the M&R gas dryers have a plug-in where the donut probe is right there.
Oh, yeah, that's
incredible.
Yeah, that's
and you know what? This customer was doing it on every shirt. They just do on there, and they're checking it on there, and I am loving that 1,000%.
And what are they finding?
Well, they've had to adjust some things, but they're finding it great.
So the reason I was going is, what are they finding? Why are they doing that? What are they?
What they're doing is, so when you run a donut probe on there, your wires are in the ink, and it is showing where the ink reaches temperature to cure, or is it all the way through the dryer on there, and where in your dryer, and it's mapping the dryer out. Yeah. So especially they have a split belt because they do a lot of things. They could be doing 100% cotton. They could be running dry fit polyester on the other side, and they've got to know and they'll adjust temperature by belt speed.
And this establishes trust, right?
100%. And it's no longer guessing. It is trust the tools. Yeah. Tools don't lie. Alan might not know. Marshall might not know. Glenn Shull might not know. Richard Greaves might not know. Mark Houdray and Michelle Kaza know everything. But you know what? Tools don't lie. Doesn't matter what we say. Tools don't lie.
Right. And of course, I know what a donut probe does. I'm just pushing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I knew you were. I didn't catch the lead in. Remember, we couldn't even start on time. That's our excuse for everything. Yeah. But if you don't have the tools, and we're talking a $20 21 step from Stouffer's, get one. Measure your exposure. We're talking a donut probe. When you buy hundreds of $1,000s of equipment, and you won't spend $400 on a tension meter or a donut probe, this is counterproductive.
Yeah, right.
And we're not talking advanced. This isn't advanced stuff. These are fundamentals, basic fundamentals. Am I stretching right? Am I coding correctly? Am I curing correctly? Boy, that should be a class. 5 fundamentals. Wait, I've done that. Yeah. But that's what we live on, Marshall, is the basic. You want to go, there's people smarter than me. Richard Greaves, Mark Houdray, Mark Soldonic. When you have a printing press, you go to Mark Houdray, Mark Soldonic on there. I'm the fundamental guy. Let's get your fundamentals going, and we'll pass you off to people who know more than me.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the blocking. Someone else will tackle, and then you can run the ball up.
Right. So in your shop, viewers, right? So what are the things that kind of are just off a little bit for you, right? Let's kind of talk about that.
Yep.
And Richard says, my email signature is, how are you measuring that? Hold on. Marshall, what are you reading?
He does both at times. And Marshall, so you run on the sales end of it and the business end of it. How do you measure stuff? You're all about the analytics and got to be measuring it. So,
well, you can't manage what you don't measure, right?
Exactly.
And by the way, I wrote an article that'll be in the next Screenprinting magazine, all about using AI to help you chart out and plan and graph all this stuff. especially if you get your data and your measurements, right? So you don't have to like physically do things because they've got tools that'll make the graph for you, right? Just
Yep.
connect the thing. And that's what Zapier is all about, right? Connect the thing.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So got a couple of minutes before we end the show, right? So please leave a comment or ask a question about this stuff. We'd love to kind of chat about that. I think also basic blocking and tackling is how you're using information in your shop. One of the things that I normally do when I do a shop visit is look for the information trail. So we get our information from our customer, and then that's entered into the system. And then everybody downstream from that has to do something. So a lot of times what happens is there is a roadblock because we don't have a piece of information. We don't have the shirt color. We don't have the zip code. We don't have something. And then that stops everything from happening, right? And so anytime somebody has to, hey, what's this mean? It means you didn't put the order in right. That's what it means, right? And so get that information, and that way your folks can do their job faster and better. And then also, if you have the information, you have to teach people where to look for it and where to read it and what to actually do with it. That's like the next step, right? And this seems so simple, but let me tell you, I can tell you, because I've been to so many places that do such a crappy job of this, this is basic blocking and tackling, information and communication in the shop. This is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. This is when it's due, right? If you don't have that, you're gonna have a problem somewhere.
Well, and blocking and tackling, and then you've got to do that once you've decided to make the changes. You've got to bring it down into your team and stuff.
Yeah.
And this makes me think of, and we want to give our condolences to Heather Streibel at Replica on the loss of their father, Robbie. And this made me think of it because I remember Heather coming to a seminar I was teaching, and afterwards, her and I were planning out on the changes she needed to make of some fundamental stuff. But then she tells me her and her mom just bought this. Our screen guy is my father, and he can be a little rough. So 2 weeks later, there's a show. She says he's coming. I'll introduce you to him. So he comes to the booth, and I see Heather and them and Melissa, and then there's Robbie, and I go, and this would be the dad. He goes, the dad. And that's what he was known to all the time in there. But Robbie passed away. I had to go through on why those fundamentals were there in his department. And while he was resistant, he went with it and ended up embracing it. And Robbie was great to work with. And our condolences go out to you guys. We're thinking Heather's been on our show. And yeah,
she's great. I haven't met, I didn't meet Robbie. I did meet Melissa. And I know I've known Heather for a while. So.
Yep, exactly. So, our thoughts and prayers are with your family right
now. Always tough sledding there.
And you know what? Let's talk about community. We talked because that seminar was at Mind's Eye Graphics when we were there, and that became a little family when he was doing that. This is not, he doesn't listen, but one of his employees, remember Michael Gum, went to the funeral.
Oh, wow.
And that was cool from their industry. I guess some of the pictures, she said, Alan, there's a picture of you and Dad in the processes were in the video slide. And I'm like, man, that's heartbreaking, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, sorry. I never know what to say about that stuff. Right?
There's nothing we can do, but we're thinking of it.
I'm always tongue-tied. So
you know what? And I bring that stuff up, not for condolences, not because I'm a better person, but you know what? Community is big, and a community isn't, and remember what we do. It's just t-shirts. Nobody's living and dying over it. But people are real.
Yeah. Right.
And life happens. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, let's end the show, and thank you so much for watching again this week. Don't forget next at Printing United, not this week, but next week. If you're at the show, we're going to be live wherever the podcast thing is. I have no idea where that is, but we're going to be live, and supposedly their chairs will be there. And you guys can be on the show if you're at Printing United. We'd love to see you. believe it or not, they gave us our request, which is our normal time. We don't have to move the time.
12 Eastern, yep.
Hopefully, yours truly can connect all the AV stuff and, and get it to work. And of course, this is assuming we can get a Wi-Fi connection on my hotspot, right? So
we'll do what we can. If not, it might be recorded and then
that's right. And we'll know that week. We will. I'll probably go by where that spot is and test my Wi-Fi. That's what I usually do. So
we and you know what? If you're there at the show, want to get together, email me, email Marshall. Let's set a time.
Yeah.
Shirt Lab breakfast. Got to go to it, people. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Come by the booth, say hi if we've never met or just briefly. Go to the GSG booth. Man, hey, I want to say something too. I just saw in the Pulse there. If you guys have not checked out Mark Soldonik's and you're a screen printer, Mark Soldonik's video on screen printing, not just glow in the dark from Aviant, but the cosmic glow and the differences. It's worth the watch. So
that's a new one. I just saw that.
It is a new one. It was pretty good. I really liked it. I didn't realize the differences in them. So yeah,
it's great.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there. Another win for GSG. They're going to be there on an island. Man, they're going to have the Quattro, I know, from M&R. Color Reel is going to be there on the ZS case. They're going to be doing it well. Make sure stop by and see them. And you know what? Go see them and tell them thank you for sponsoring us and where you know us from.
Yeah, good. All right. Anyway, hey, we'll see everybody next week. And you guys have a great weekend. Go Florida State, playing the Virginia Tech Hokies tomorrow. Hope we'll be 5-0 on our way to a national championship and making yours truly really happy.
Could the Detroit Lions win 4 games and be 4-1? Oh my gosh.
We'll see.
We're still a little nervous here in Detroit. We're like not quite sure how to act.
Yeah, is it SOL, right? Same old Lions, right?
Same old Lions, SOL. But SOL is always there because that's what it is. But wow. A lot of talk in there, but now it's just doing the work.
Yep.
All right. So cool.
All right. Hey, everyone, have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Appreciate it.